Welcome to another edition of Have You on the Wrist podcast, y'all. This is the special edition. Y'all in for a treat today. All right, we got someone who's fantastic. I mean, this is like one of the greatest artists in the world right now, and I'm lucky to even have her here as a guest, You ain't heard of her name probably. Her name's Carla Ardiles, but you're going to remember the name today. So, introduce yourself.
Yes.
You want to come this way?
So my name is Carla Ardiles. I've been an artist all my life since I was 6 years old. My first paintings, but today I have evolved. I think in a way that I can understand my clients. I can design artistic pieces that represents them.
Now, tell them where you're from.
Oh.
And tell them how you got into even doing art.
Okay. Well, I'm from Chile originally. My whole family were in Chile, and then we, at about 6 years old, we traveled to Australia because of political reasons, and then we lived in Australia for about 5 years, and then my father decided to go back to Chile. Things were better then after we came back. And we stayed there till about 1994, and then then for economical reasons, my father picked up the family again and came to the United States. Very, very fortunate to come to Florida, to Miami,
nice.
And that was in 1994. And me and my brothers, have always been artists. And we went through high school, and it was all art, paintings. In high school, the art club, everything was art.
So did your parents? Did they embrace art?
Yes. What happened? Yes. So what happened is in high school we were doing art, and in the art class we had art A1, AP, A art. We had 5 classes of art.
Yeah.
So my father told us, and this is something that I always remember. He looked at us and he says, "Guys, in order to study something in life, you need to study something that you're good at." And he says, "You're both going to study art." And I was like, oh. He goes, you have to be in the artistic field, and that was so amazing to me because it unleashed from inside the heart. I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. This is amazing, because he almost gave me the permission,
So you just were born with the natural talent.
Yes, we were born designing, and my father had the vision. So he told us that we wanted to work at 14, 15, 16, we wanted to work, and he said, never work for anybody, always work for yourself, and when the time comes, you'll start.
Was your father an artist?
He was an engineer. He's an electric engineer.
Okay.
He's very creative.
Okay.
He'll put all this apart and use the pieces to make other things.
Okay. So creativity's in the
very
family.
creative, very creative. We never had an iron or anything, because the iron was put apart. The components were put apart to make his own machines.
Okay.
So it was very creative and very aggressive. So I have the aggressiveness from him. So so my father had the vision, and then he found work for us when we were about 18 in a place where they made a lot of artwork. And I think that was very important for me, because it transformed me from a normal artist doing my own things, dark feelings of happiness, depression, to I went to a place where they did art for a decorating art. And I was like, wow, I can do this. So it took me from being an artist for myself, to being an artist for other people, which is the major difference between artists and people like me that made a living doing art all their lives. Now I became more listening to other people's needs and other people's color coordinations, and then I follow that.
So for y'all that don't know, Carla here, she's a very successful painter. She's grown. She does custom arts for companies, celebrities, you name them. So how did you go from a young lady growing up in Chile, you moved to Australia, now you're here in Miami, and your father instilled in you hard work for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you go from just being a regular artist to being as successful as you are now?
Okay,
Let's talk about that journey.
That was very important, and I think it made a big difference. It was studying interior design.
Okay.
So my father put
Did you go to school for interior design? Okay.
Yes. When I went to school for interior design, I saw myself with unlimited ideas. Like I had so many ideas to do, like floor plans. My classmates were struggling to come up with a concept.
Now, where do you get your ideas?
They just come out.
They
They
just
just come
flow in.
one after the other, one after the other. Like I remember doing the teacher would say, here's a floor plan of the house, and he told the whole class, everybody's gonna do, their design for their house, and so everybody's like trying to come up with a concept. And I already had like 5 concepts, and I didn't know which one to choose. And other people were like, wait, I can't even think of one, because I was the only artist in the class. Regularly, the people study interior design are regular people they're not artists. They just like color. I was an artist, so I had like a zillion ideas.
Well, how would you describe your style of art? How would you describe that?
That shaped me for listening to our clients. So when I graduated that, and I started having clients, and I started going to the homes to design and also to put artwork in their walls, because that's what I did. I started listening to them. And I started seeing that different people have different styles, different ones. Some people like to make a statement, show off to make the.
So do you find the clients, or do the clients find you?
No, they find me. I never advertised
No.
in my whole life. I never advertised. I always had clients calling me, and I did now later in life. I remember I did a client, Rod Mack. He was a financial advisor to the athletes. And I remember he called me. He's like, Carla, I want you to do my house. And I was like, yes. He goes, you know me? And I'm like, how? And he goes, you did my mom's house 15 years ago. And you did some peach pots and peach paintings. And I was like, oh my God. So I did that house when he was like 12.
Right.
And now he's a grown person and calling me from the referrals. And like him, many clients call me back because I did their parents' house and so forth.
Now, what kind of types of art pieces do you do? Because when I came across some of your work. It was beautiful, by the way. I never seen anybody with this kind of style that you use.
It comes from different places. When I first got my first job doing artwork for this artist that used to do artwork for all the furniture stores, that's my first job, and my dad cut us. I experimented with every single thing. I put leaves on the painting, I put sand on the paintings, I put rocks on the paintings, I put anything that you can imagine. And also we experimented with like sculpture and putty, and so in those 6 months that I worked at this place, only 6 months,
mm-hmm.
I unleashed a world of different techniques, and I could experiment with every single one of them. So when I finished working there, I knew that at my hands, I could create anything I wanted. If I could put a leaf of a tree on a painting and put all kinds of colors on it, and I could put sand on a painting, put epoxy, and make, the sky's the limit. So after that, I got that job. I went to study interior design, with more shaped me into listening to people and coordinating my style with what people wanted. And then I was an artist. So I have my first clients, and then I did a couple of football players, and they allowed me to create something stunning.
Hold on, wait. You say you did a couple of football players.
Yes.
So you do high profile clients?
Yes.
Like, who are some of the people that you've done pieces for that we might know?
Well, my first client was, my first football client was a long time ago. His name was Mark Clayton from the Dolphins.
Mark Clayton from the Dolphins.
Yeah, and that was the first one. And then from there, there were recommendations. I did Clinton Portis house, Roscoe Parrish, also from the Gators.
Okay.
They went on and played football. And I did Frank Gore's. 3 homes. The first one, the second one, the third one we just finished about a year ago. and then I just finished David Nayoki's house. It's another football player for Cleveland Browns.
Okay, from
He's
the
a
Browns.
tight end. Amazing person, super educated. I love him. He's super sweet. And I did his house, and they wanted a pop. They wanted a design with a pop. They wanted a house that when people came in, they got inspired with things they've never seen before. So that's what I do. You want something that you've never seen before, and you want the house to be amazing and comfortable and inviting. That's what I do. I want to create. I'm not into picking furniture or sofas. I don't want to go pick up some drapes. I do that.
Right.
But the main thing for me is to restructure the space. Like if this is supposed to be a dining room, it becomes a game room. Or if this is supposed to be a living room, now it becomes a lounge or a bar.
You're gonna transform the room.
It just transform it. Just not what you expect. Transform completely. So just
everything's custom, y'all.
Everything's transformed. Nothing's as expected. So they're very happy. He's extremely happy. I did a couple. I'm gonna show you some pictures so you can put it, so you can see.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So I've done many players and a couple of artists, but it's
Do
very
you ever
very rewarding.
experience like any creative blocks? Like, do you ever run out of ideas?
Never.
Never.
I
Just keep
don't.
it
I have
coming.
too many ideas.
Yeah.
Like I have a room and I'm like, okay, usually for my clients, when I go to their home and I get inspired, I take pictures, I do one room and then I said, oh my God, I have this other room in my head too, so I have to do 3 pictures, three perspectives of 3 different rooms, because it's 3 different versions.
Yeah.
So I have too many ideas, and sometimes I say, you know what, forget that, forget this, I just gotta show them one, because then they can't decide. So I usually have too many ideas, and I'm never ending, and I always want to transform things. So it's always changing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's cool. What's your next artistic journey?
Okay. Well,
what are you working on now?
Okay, so I've been doing interior design with my art in every home, and I make sure every house has my murals, and every house has my artwork. But now, about 6 years ago, I said, I've been doing artwork for everybody, for my clients. I feel the need to do artwork that comes from my heart. Because I did not mention, but I'm very spiritual. God is always in front of everything. It's more important than anything else. Then I'm good with Him. And I learned that through art. Art taught me there was something else, because my parents were atheists, and my father still doesn't believe in God. I'm still trying to teach him. So God was not in my life, but through art, I've been forced almost to another dimension, and I felt God with me. And the more I did art, the more I understood what God is, because I was in another place. So it brought me to a very spiritual world, and I've been learning little by little my whole life how spiritual I am, and how I want to show people there's much more about God than this life, and you have to live by that, and you live happier. So now that I am at the last stages of my life, I say the third part of my life. First you're young, then you have a family, then my 2 girls just left to university, then it's my 3rd stage. And this is 3rd stage. I want to do what I want to do from my heart. But at the same time, I want to do something that brings people happiness, brings people to spirituality, engages them, captures them, and creates an amazing energy. So it's almost like I want the art to captivate you and activate you.
Absolutely.
That's what I want my art to do now. I want my art to talk. I want my art to make you feel, to make you excited. So about 5 years ago, I decided I'm gonna make my line. I'm gonna make my own creative line that comes from my heart, and I want to see how that works with people, because I want it to come out and reach out to you and grab you. And so I came up. I started playing around with ideas. What would do that? What would do that? What would do that for people? Again, using the same concept, what would do that for people? Not but what would captivate people's tastes?
You're trying to draw them in.
So So finally I decided and I came up with a line, and it's a spiritual line, and it's based on it's women. It's like an image of spirituality of angels, but it's with women, and it has to do with the elements. It has to do with the fire, with water, with air, because that's where all my clients were. And every time I did a client design for a client, I would ask them their element, their sign, and that would be much easier for me to vision their home if they told me their element. For example, what's your element?
My element? I would say water.
No, yours is fire.
Fire?
You're Sagittarius.
I'm a Sagittarius.
You're fire.
I'm fire.
So you're fire. So as a fire sign, I now can see myself walking into your home, and I see the whole thing, because you're a fire sign. You're fire. You're dynamic. You're energy. You like to when you have energy, you have to mold the energy. You like to direct the energy. That's what you are.
That's correct.
So when people walk into your house, they have to feel that. And so your design will be geared towards energy, energetic, and colors, design, vibrations that show who you are.
Absolutely.
And that gives me a very good opportunity to create for you.
Absolutely.
And make it yours.
Nice.
So that's how I do with the artwork. So now I want to see, I want to reach everybody. So it's done in 4 elements. And so I came up with that line of spirituality, spiritual women, and it's amazing. And I was able to incorporate sculpturing, because I do sculpture. I do dimensional walls on the wall, and I do sculpturing, and I do artwork, and I do paint, I do resin. I love mosaics, and I love glass. So I just put all inside the pot, and I just came up with the most amazing creation.
And some of your creations are amazing. Like when I first met you, you said that you did the art gallery. Mm-hmm. And how did that go? Let people know how that went, because you.
Yes, I did. My first art show was last year, because after I came up, it took me 5 years to develop a line, and finally I had the art show in Art Basel, and Art Basel in Miami, on the November, December, I think it was last year. And I said, I'm going to bring the 4 elements. I'm going to bring the women, and I'm going to put them in the gallery to see how people react. And that's my main concern. I want to see how people engage with this, because I wanted to see if what I wanted came to fruition. So I made the 4 elements, beautiful, beautiful women, and I made them in huge size. I made them in 5 by 7, and it's real size women. And I was inspired by different artists. By Do the Women, because I love Jennifer Lopez is a person that has so much energy. She's a Leo. She's a fire.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna do my fire like based on what Jennifer is about, and so I did this woman that is all fire and beauty and creativeness. So that was one, and then the other one was Air, another artist. You know, Carol G was like, I was like, Carol G's Air. This is gonna be Carol G. So I was like, okay, so she's very creative again, artistic, creative, sensual. All singers, you know, they are into that. So I did the art show, and people came in.
Now was this your exclusive?
Yeah, it was my exclusive space.
Okay.
It's a huge space. I got a gallery space, which is a huge space. And I invested the money, because it's very expensive to do the art shows. Okay. But I invested the money. I wanted to see what impact they cost, and if I was on the right track. And so I had put so I was there all excited about my art, and then this guy stood in front of the piece, and he was just looking at it, and I'm going, oh, I love it how he's engaged. He was just looking at it, and then looking at it, and down and up. And then I was like, wow, that's amazing. So then I go to him, I go, you like? And he goes to me, how do you do this? What's going on? Can you explain to me? And I was like, I love it, yes, it's so beautiful. And I said to him, this is what spirituality feels to me.
Now, what painting piece was this?
He was looking at the earth.
The earth.
Earth woman. And
what did you like about it?
He said, it trapped him, and he couldn't stop looking at her. And I asked him what his element was, and he was earth. And I said, you're attracted to your element. You finally found peace. You found yourself. And he was like, and he looked at me and he goes, I'm tearing up. And I was like, yes, this is what I want. I want people to feel the energy. And he goes, my hair is standing up. And he goes, I'm going to tell you that I came to Art Basel on Thursday. I've been to 4 art shows in Miami. This is my last show. He says, I've never, ever experienced something like this. You're good. Like, you're awesome. I was like, that's what I wanted to show. I said, now I can pack up and go home. This is what I wanted. What he's telling me, he's an art collector from New York, and he just goes around looking at art and see what catches him. So I was like, yes, that's awesome. So then I had another gentleman from Germany standing on the other side looking at the air woman. And the funny thing is, like, men and women, men more than women, would stand in front of this pieces and get all excited and teary. So this
men more than women.
Yes. Women would be like, oh, I love her, she's so beautiful. She would look so good in my house. Oh, she looks so good on camera.
So would you
the men would sit there and go, what's going on here? My emotions are being stirred up. And then you think, maybe because women walk around with their emotions out there and they're all sensitive, but the guys don't. No. So when they sit in front or stand in front of something like this, it collapses them. And I saw the other guy from Germany. He was standing there. He goes, "How do you do it? What's going on here?" Like the same thing. Like, how do you start doing this? How do you come up with this? Because it's just I'm so emotional right now, and they're just talking emotions, and that's what I wanted. So and then
your art has passion,
yeah,
it has emotion, it touches people's soul.
It captivates you and activates you again, reactivates you. And
captivates you and activates you.
It captivates you and activates you and it's about spiritual energy. It's about good energy, and I always have a very, very clear concept that I tell my daughters about spirituality. I said, if you fill up your heart, your house with love, if you fill it up with beautiful things, diabolic energies are not going to be able to live there. And I say diabolic energies. I don't say the devil, but I said the energies, they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're right around you, that people that you know, that they're everywhere. They're much more present than people know. But if you fill up your house with beautiful things, energetic filled things, they're not going to be able to stand a chance to be around you. That's why I want my paintings to be cleansed, to cleanse the environment. I want the artwork to be there, standing up, say, I'm here. But a live energy. Mm-hmm. If I can't be there to do that, I want the painting, the artwork to do that, and it does.
Now, did anybody inspire you, and what would you tell up-and-coming artists that want to do like you and mm-hmm. be an artist like you?
Anybody inspired me? I think the person that most inspired me was my dad. Mm-hmm. His aggressiveness. He wanted to try everything. He's never had a problem trying anything, and never cared about mistaking. Now, as a matter of fact, he made mistakes all the time. He never admitted it. And I was like, wow, this guy's amazing. He'll just make a big boo boo, and he'll be like, oh, it wasn't me. It was whatever. It wasn't me. I was like, oh, that's great, because it allowed me
That's how you learn.
Yeah, exactly. It allowed me to go mistake all the time. As a matter of fact, the first job, I go back to the first job that I had, making all the paintings. This guy contracted me to do. Our first job was a guy that did paintings for furniture stores, flea markets, and we worked for him at the beginning for like 6 months. I did he told me, do whatever you want. And I was like, wow, this is great. So I did a painting. Oh my God, this stuff that came from my heart, And my brother, he's an artist. But he was more technical than me. So he saw what the guy did, and then he improved what he had. Mm-hmm. I went ahead, I said, oh, he wants me to do something from my heart. And at the time, I was a very...
You ever collaborated with your siblings on any art?
No. No, because my brother, he can't deal with people, so it wasn't a career for him. And then my other brother is very sensitive and emotional. He can't deal with people either. So I could deal with people. I love to deal with people. So that gave me my other edge. The art, I don't take anything personal, and I don't mind doing things for other people. And that's how it makes me more of a artist person. So that was the experience there with the artwork. And so I did my first artwork for this guy, right? And I thought it was amazing. It didn't sell. He says, I don't think this is gonna sell. And I'm like, what? And my brother's stuff is all selling. And I'm here doing paintings that they don't sell. I just did my own stuff.
And what turned that around?
It turned around. After a while, he said, Carla, you can't be doing this. This stuff doesn't sell.
So you had to figure it out.
My brother, from the beginning, he just did what he did and improved it, right? I was like, you know what? So that's why I decided, either you're an artist, that you listen to your soul and you listen to heart, but you do it for yourself, not to sell it, or you're an artist that improves whatever is there out there selling, and you improve that, and then you sell it. And I was like, wow, I better not keep doing it. So my artwork was there forever. He never sold it. And then I started doing stuff that my brother was doing, more artistic, but whatever was selling already, and improved it. Those were going out very fast. So that's where my little crossroads were. When I decided, okay. And so that little part waited for 30 years, and now I'm going back to that heart and doing it spiritually, and with all the experience I had now, doing a piece that captures people instead of people running away from it. That's as an artist, most artists do that. They do stuff that people run away. It's depressing. When they're sad, they want to paint. It's really depressing. Oh, that's an ear, that's an eye. You unite, there's a bone in the center. That's how artists are. They want to express what they feel.
Yeah.
So that I learned very early in life that was not going to sell.
Right.
And then I decided to go the other route. And then interior design shaped me more, and clients and all that. So that's how. So I would tell artists, the first thing they need to learn is that your artistic ability is not for sale. Your artistic ability is for yourself. You need to fulfill your soul, and you need to paint for yourself, not to sell. But if you do want to make a business out of it, you need to understand that you need to listen to other people, what they want, and you're an intermediary to that person in art. It's not about you anymore. If you want to sell your art, it's about what people want and how they visualize it, but you bring it to life. So it's two different careers.
Absolutely.
Two different careers. So it's nothing wrong with the first one, but don't be depressed if you can't sell your art.
Keep going.
Because the first one is for yourself. It's a gift from God to you because it fills you up. The other one is a career. It's two different. And do not take it personal. When you do something that somebody doesn't like, don't take it personal. Because if you're doing something that comes from your heart and nobody likes, it's for you. It's not for anybody else to like. So that's the difference between artists all over the world. I remember there's one instance in Facebook. I had one of my friends in Facebook. He says, I'm gonna quit this, I'm gonna quit that, I'm gonna start doing my art again. I think he worked for Home Depot.
Yeah.
And he said, I'm gonna quit my art today. I'm done with this. I'm gonna put all my artwork that I've done in Facebook. And I was like, wow. So he did. He put the art on Facebook. Well, I saw the art. It was very, very basic. Stuff that you do when you're an artist. The eyes here. You have to figure out how to put the body together. And that went, and I was like, Lord, help him, because I know it's not gonna sell. I know it. So then after a while, he has another post, and it was really sad. And he said, I put all my art on my Facebook page, and not one person bought my art. Guys, I feel very sad that nobody understands, what I do and how I get to it. But the art was for him. It was depressing. It was stuff that it doesn't inspire people. People will buy something that inspires them. So, and I was like, oh my God, this artist is one of a million artists. That now they feel sad that they don't like their art, and that shouldn't be like that. It's a difference. You do this for you.
I just learned something today. It's a different type of art.
It's different.
If you're trying to sell to somebody, you want to customize it for them.
Yes.
And you should meet, you should be willing to compromise.
You're an intermediary.
Yes.
If you like people, if you want to do other people, then you become an artist that makes money. If you don't like people, and you can't talk to people, you just do other things and just do the art for yourself. And
that's what separates successful artists.
And under the bridge, others. I call them under the
Y'all
bridge.
just got the gem right here, heavy on the wrist.
Yes, and also you see a lot of artists that've gone to, drugs and alcoholism, because artists are the most sensitive people in the world. Artists are sensitive. Everything touches them. Everything, the heart is like it falls apart with it because they're very sensitive, and they're also very smart. Every artist out there, you are very smart. The more creative people, the more smartest people, the most creative. Smart and creativity is a link. Now, don't forget that. Creative. If you're super creative, you're super smart. But what happens is that you try to sell your art from your heart, and then you become depressed. You forget you're smart. Do you understand? But the most creative people, the most smartest people.
That's true.
It's true. It's true.
It's true.
They're smart because they're quick, they're witty, they're creative. They come up with solutions. But now you start incorporating art, and I'm an artist, and I don't sell it. Then you become depressed for nothing. Because
make it work.
You're creative and you're smart. The smartest people are the most creative. That when you use that part of your brain. So when the art doesn't work, what happens? They become very sensitive, very hurt. They start smoking. A lot of people smoke pot. A lot of artists smoke pot because they go into a world, and then but they get lost in that world.
They get lost.
And then they come back to being smart and to say, you know what, let's do something. Let's make it work. They get lost in that because they escape emotions. When you escape emotions, you escape reality. And when you escape reality, you can't make money. So you're broke.
You got fake money. You got playing with monopoly money.
And then you're complaining, and then you're smarter than the rest of the people, so you stay out there in the planet. I don't know what. Because you say, I don't want to come back to the stupid planet. But then you go away. So the most smartest people are the most creative people. People that are not creative have problems, have more trouble being smart. So they have to follow a rule. Very square people, it's different type of people.
Stay in the box.
They gotta stay in there.
Yeah.
Because they're not creative. So they gotta stay there.
Yeah.
And those are the people usually successful. Because it's not the talent, it's the discipline.
It's the hard work.
It's the hard working. You have a little brain, but you have discipline, you're gonna be so successful. And that's the way life works.
That's the way life works.
So we have many, many talented people walking around and living under bridges.